Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com for Alentejo wines from the south of Portugal. Alentejo means on the other side of the Tejo River, or the Tagus if you want to give it its Latin name, but I don't, so I'll just stick with Alentejo. Anyway, first one is Ramos Reserva. Both the first two made by a guy called João Portugal Ramos, and both from 2011. What's the difference? Let's dig in and see. Well, this smells full, rounded and juicy blackberry jam. Bit of spice in there. It feels like it's going to be a soft, warm-hearted wine. Blend, it says Trincadeira, Aragonés, also known as Tempranillo, and Syrah. There's a plush plumminess about that. Ripe, earthy. There's this just verging on the overripe. And there is a touch of jamminess there, but here feels like it's freshened up by, I don't know where the freshness is coming from, whether it's a little bit of the earthy spice that's coming through from the syrup. What I call pippy berry, if you imagine some of those berries that have got quite a lot of seeds in there, that character's coming through. Good gutsy red wine. Nice. Maybe a bit too polished and modern for purists, but good glug. Next one is a Foz from the Great River Valleys. So again, 2011 vintage. This one, blend of Aragonés, Trincadeira and Castellao. Castellao is a grape that used to be known as Periquita until everyone... Well, there's a company who do a wine that's called Periquita, and they started suing everybody, which I always hate when things like that happen. Can't they just be friends? Anyway, Castellao. Maybe I think of it as Portugal's Grenache. It's a soft, friendly grape. Sometimes it can just be a little bit too lumpen and blobby, but if you do it right, get it in the right areas, then it looks good. Tobacco and vanilla are notes that I get in it, even when there's no oak present. So let's give this a sniff. I don't get the vanilla, but I get the tobacco coming through here. There is it doesn't feel quite as flashy and modern as the first one. I don't know whether that's anything to do with it, or the grapes here being ones that have had longer to adapt to Portugal, in other words, no Syrah, but I think it's also been made in a slightly more old-fashioned way, and allowed some of this perfumed herbiness to come through. The fruit doesn't feel quite as ripe and in your face, but just feels maybe a little bit more laid back, maybe a little bit more confident. Let's see. And I really like that. Yeah, not afraid to be that little bit old-fashioned. If I have a problem with some modern Portuguese wines, it's that the producers seem all too anxious to use their new equipment. Here, it feels like they've not been afraid to give it a little bit of aging and a little bit of air getting into the wine and get it to soften. And that Castellao, maybe it's the Castellao, maybe it's the Trincadeira, that's giving this rounded herbiness. So whereas the Ramos Reserva is the yes, it's the polished. It's the one that goes to the nail bar. This is the one that's alluring late at night. I'm not sure if I know what I mean there, but okay. Final pair. So those were both made by João Portugal Ramos. Final pair from the Azamor estate still in the Alentejo. First one is their 2008. I think it's just called the 2008 Azamor. Give it a whirl. Now, maybe Azamor's most distinctive wine, they do 100% Petit Verdot. And Petit Verdot actually appears in this blend, along with, well, 28% Syrah, 18 Touriga Franca, 15 Merlot, 15 Alicante Boucher, 11 Trincadeira, 9 Touriga Nacional, 4 Petit Verdot. But sometimes you look at a blend like that and you think, oh, someone's almost bolted together a wine and said, oh, we need a bit of that, we need a bit of that, we need a bit of that. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like there is a harmony about the wine. So there is a soft, warm herbiness, and but still with a freshness of fruit. I mean, we're in 2013 here. This is 4.5-year-old, nearly 5-year-old wine, and it still feels like it's got a rustic charm but good rustic. It feels like all the grapes there, that rather than jostling with each other, they're actually getting on and doing something useful. It smells good. Again, there's that warm tobacco, earthy berry, plum, damson, what I call the brown sugar element. There's a sweet, soft molasses warmth about it, and darn satisfying wine. The Petit Verdot may be the distinctive one, but this is, I find this a more complete and more honest wine. It's really nice. Final one from them is their Selected Vines 2007. So a lot more Syrah here, 51 Syrah, 25 Alicante Boucher, 12 Touriga Nacional, 12 Touriga Franca. Let's give this one a whirl. Well, do you know what? They may have selected the vines for this one, but it feels like in trying that little bit harder, they've maybe over-tried, and the previous one smells much more together and knit. Here I get a little bit of volatility, I get a little bit of Brettanomyces coming through. It smells, yes, it smells like it's going to be, well, alcohol-wise, I think they're both 14.5%, but yeah, it doesn't feel quite as complete a wine as the previous one. Sweet, meaty, earthy, raisiny. And as soon as I see raisins in a wine, I start thinking, have you tried too hard? Have you picked too late? Here, on the previous one, I don't know whether it's shriveled Syrah that I'm getting there. Syrah, people think of Syrah as being a warm climate grape. And I think it's largely because when people look at Australia, they think of Shiraz. But when you look at where it grows well in France, it's in the coolish, relatively cool atmosphere of the northern Rhone. If you take it down to the southern Rhone, the warm bit, they say that if you have too much Syrah there, it's like a drunk at a party. It takes over the wine, so they sort of limit its impact to maximum of 20% of a blend. Here, 51%. I don't know whether it is that thing that's giving the raisiny character, and but the finish I'm left with is on that slightly dry. Charmless isn't quite a fair word. It's an okay wine, but I think the previous one gets it right in. It's not trying as hard, and in not trying as hard, it does its job better. This is okay, but that's a class act for me, and that's the one I will be polishing off tonight. See you soon.